Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Love Your Vibe podcast. I'm your host, Sean Grant. So happy to have you with me here today on a Saturday. And once again, if by some chance you don't get the opportunity to hear this on Saturday, I am going to have it available for replay on iTunes, Cashbox, Deezer. I want to say a couple of the ones are available on iHeartRadio and Spotify, but I'll check that to be sure. I got to figure out if I got approved. But I know a lot of people use iTunes, so it'll be available on iTunes for a replay. So you can always go back and listen. You can always download as well from iTunes and from Spreaker as well. So hello to the east, to the west, to the north, to the south, everybody out there listening. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's a beautiful Saturday. It's a great day to be alive, as every day is. And we are going to get into today's fantastic message. And that message is, right? That message is taking the mystic approach to discovering true freedom. All right. And so when people think mystic, all of a sudden they think, they think shaman. They think this individual who sits in nature all day and meditates. And maybe I'm just talking about myself, but whenever I used to think of mystic, I used to think of that until mystic showed up in my energy field really strong. And, I'm like, okay, what is a mystic? What is really a mystic? And a mystic is basically someone who bridges the spiritual world to the material world. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's definitely me, I'm like, why am I not claiming this or taking the time to claim this as I have or as I should have in the past? So that's truly what a mystic is. The mystic's objective or the mystic's mantra is, I am spiritually wealthy. Now, so you may be wondering, okay, spirituality, true freedom, how does this add up? Well, fret not, because sometimes I know it can often seem like you do all this spiritual work and you don't have anything material to show for it. But the ultimate, I feel like priority of spirituality is to get you so strong from a spiritual standpoint that you're able to mesh that with material. And here is the truth of the matter. Here's the truth of the matter. You become a spiritual master when you understand that there is no material matter. Everything is spirit, right? Every single thing you see, observe, even the energy, even the spaces, even it's all spirit. It all has a spirit of energy around it, in it, through it, right? So there's no such thing as necessarily the material, but we use that term because a lot of times that's what people understand. So you always have to meet them where they are. And so in really getting a comprehension of that, just being a mystic means quieting the mind, right? Quieting the mind, connecting the mind with the heart, and expanding your sense of presence, okay? And when you do that, all of a sudden, something really magnificent occurs. So one, as we've talked about in the past, you connect with the heart of the universe, which is the compassion, okay? And then, after you've connected to that compassion, there's a sense of calmness that comes over you. And this sense of calmness all of a sudden opens your consciousness to receiving wisdom from the spiritual world, right? Or from the spirit world. And when I say spirit world, it can goes from angels to fairies to ancestors to guardian angels to archangels, whatever you want. Like, there is entities of unconditional love willing to offer you joy, peace, ease, understanding, and as much wisdom as you need. All you have to do is surrender, submit, and ask. I'm going to say it 3 times because I want you to remember that. Surrender, submit, and ask. Okay? Whenever I look to manifest anything, I always surrender, submit, and ask. Why? Because I know if I go through that process, I'm going to hear my guidance very, very clearly. And I do this every single day now, and I'm going to show you how. So I have these recordings. They're called Divine Downloads. They started out as being called Divine Downloads. And then it went from that to Spirit Rising. And then it went from that to Soulful Guidance. So for the sake of just clarity and simplicity, we are going to call it just Divine Downloads. So I want to say I have a total of about 70 of these recordings. And basically it's just me channeling the divine from anywhere to 7 to 10 minutes, just straight up channeling. And I've done this in a natural setting, usually in a place where I'm by myself, where I can quiet my mind and then connect that mind to my heart so it can actually formulate these words, right? Because that's what a mystic does. It takes spiritual energy, information, and it creates words out of them, right? And so that's what I've been fortunate enough to kind of just stumble upon and do. But anyway, I have like 70 plus of these things. And every morning I wake up and, I usually do it whenever I go, like, either take a walk or work out. I ask divine guidance I ask the divine, I ask the God in me to offer me the guidance, the divine guidance that is in my highest good for this day. I take a deep breath and I take a moment, and immediately I'll see a number. I'll see, so yesterday, Spirit Rising 32. Day before that, Divine Download 15. Soulful Guidance 8. And Spirit communicates with me like this because I'm willing to listen. Now, it's really cool to enter a practice into doing this because your intuition, your psychic ability becomes so strong. I feel like a lot of the clairaudience that I possess comes from me asking Spirit for that guidance and then receiving it. And then once I listen to the message, it is always spot on. It's always spot on. There's never a time where it has led me astray. Even if I doubted the number that I got, I was like, you know what? I trust that this is right. I'm going to go with it. And the message winds up being perfect, right? And so that does not make me special or anything like that. I'm just willing to listen and to hear what Spirit wants to give me. And you can do that same thing, right? And so to show you that you don't need to start channeling right off the bat, this is how this begins. So when I first started, I wasn't channeling messages or anything like that. I just had a desire for spirituality. It was one of my master numbers. And I devoted hours every single day to that. And then all of a sudden, because you devote something that you truly desire to do, you devote time to it and energy, it gives back. But, I got to the place of asking myself, so what if somebody wanted to do this just in a way to have it to use every day. And so we came up with this thing called the Mystic Minute. Okay. Derek Rydell actually mentioned it one time or another. It's a really cool concept. Call it a Mystic Minute, a shaman short, whatever you want to, verbalize it as. But basically all you do is you take a minute to just sit in silence. Wherever you are, right? Take a minute. It's kind of dangerous to do if you're driving because, you can lose sight of what's going on in front of you. But if you're like in the waiting room, if you're waiting in line at the grocery store, if you're taking a walk, the Mystic Minute allows you to open yourself to be receptive to spirit. And this is exactly what you do. You surrender, you submit, and then you ask, right? And so what I like to do, and I did this the other day on the podcast, on one of my podcasts, where you take your middle finger on your right hand and place it on your third eye, which is right between your eyebrows, and you take the middle finger on your left hand and you place it in the center of your chest on your heart center. And what that does is that links up, that aligns your heart and mind, all right? And when your heart and mind are aligned, that means that, your mind can't really veer off and tell you something that's going to like deter you from receiving this guidance. All of a sudden, you take the entire minute to link up like that. And you just say, I surrender and I submit to spirit. Or I surrender and I submit to the divine. Whatever helps you. I surrender and I submit to God. And after that minute, take those fingers off and just ask and say, Spirit, what would you have me know that is in my highest good? Spirit, what would you have me know right now that is in my highest good? And it'll come as a thought. Now, because your mind is linked to your heart, it'll come as a thought. And when I first started, I would hear stuff like, don't take life so seriously. Or don't stress yourself out. Or everything is going to work out. Or relax into your life. Don't be in such a hurry. And it was just small things. And so when I was receiving small inclinations, what I began to do is just continue to ask. And all of a sudden, you ask, and then spirit allows this energy to come out where you can process. I mean, a great technique to do this with is morning pages. Like, so I'll do morning pages. I'll ask and I'll write 3 long-handed pages of channeled information and not remember any of it right then and there, but then come back and was like, wow, okay, that was really epic to see all of that come out, and it was exactly what I needed to know at the time. But you know what? Get to that point. Start with these simple questions. Connect yourself, because here's the thing. When you do this and you do this enough, this is freedom. This is true freedom. Because once again, there's no spiritual, material, mental, emotional. Everything is spirit. Everything is a spiritual world, right? Because it all has a spirit behind it. It wouldn't operate. It wouldn't move. It wouldn't have these energetic particles if it wasn't spirit, right? So when you understand that you're not working with anything concrete whatsoever. It is all malleable, permeable, divine juice, as I like to call it, that will answer to the type of feeling and emotion that you give to it. And I'm telling you, if you really want the divine to begin to help you, start feeling love towards divine entities, because that is love and compassion are the 2 things that can really draw spirit into yourself. Just really, it really is something phenomenal to see when you fill yourself up with love and compassion, how powerful the divine can move for you, because that's its nature. Its nature is to love us unconditionally, to give to us, to help us when we need help, to offer good vibes, loving vibes when we're going through things. So embody that, and all of a sudden you've tapped into the vibration of the universe, and it's smooth sailing from there. And look, I'm telling you, you do this even when your life is in chaos, or when you're going through the toughest times and you discover freedom. Because you know what freedom is? Freedom is not becoming a victim to your circumstances, not being in a state where you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. No. Freedom means, you know what? There's a power in me, a spirit in me that's in everything else that is greater than any situation that I can come across, and it's going to help me to get out of this. So let me stop and take my mystic minute and ask, what would it have me do right now? And it's as simple as that. And you get the first step, you knock that out, you wait for the second one, or you go back and you ask for the second step. And it's just that simple, step by step by step. Before you know it, you're in the habit of doing this, and you're on point. So not too long ago, I adopted the mindset, the heart set of Timberwolf, right? And the reason I chose Timberwolf is because the Timberwolf is known for its instinct, known for its ability to trust its intuition above every single possible thing anywhere. And I just connected with that. Like, I felt a mastery connection to it. And I'm like, you know what? This is for me. And so in doing that, and just basically taking on, embodying the essence of the Timberwolf, my intuition has become so much stronger. My ability to access, to ascertain what is going on around me, what do I need to do in order to be the very best that I can, has heightened, right? So it just gives you some insight as to how important it is to be able to be in touch with your divine guidance. So we're going to do an intention here, and then we will let you go. So start thinking about, let's first get you into a space of compassion. And this is just simple and easy. You can have compassion for yourself, a friend, a family member, a random person. Think about something you can have compassion for right now. And then once you get that, once again, we're going to do that heart and mind link up, okay? So you'll take the middle finger on your right hand, place it between your eyebrows on your third eye, and you'll take your middle finger on your left hand and place it on your heart center, right between your chest. So take a minute to do that, or a moment rather, to do that, and start breathing deeply and calmly, and we're going to set this intention. All right. So you should have something that's allowing you to feel compassion, whatever it may be. You can have compassion for the world, for the country, whatever it is. Now that you have that compassion, I'm going to move into our intention. Dearest beloved goddess in each and every one of us, we come, as always, in gratitude, in love, and in joy for all that you're able to do with us and through us. We set these intentions with the idea of knowing the exact truth that anything we ask for from a place of spirit, we will receive at the perfect time. So we set this intention today to easily and effortlessly discover the true freedom within us, within each and every one of us, that allows us to see that we have everything we need and desire to make this life the best one. There is no problem that is greater than the spirit within. There is no issue or obstacle that is more powerful than the spirit within. As we set our intention, we ask once again that you bring us to discover the true freedom within ourselves through this mystic approach, and everyone around and connected to us, that it may unfold in a comforting, easeful, joyful way under grace. And so it is. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Guys, with that being said, have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday and weekend, and I will catch up to you soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care. Bye-bye.